You are free to do whatever you want.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the delay here. Let's give Pedro and I a minute here to get things started. Be with you in just a moment.
My camera's good. Your text.
You are free to do whatever you want. Do you know who you are? You are free to do whatever you want.
There we go. I got things fixed here. That took forever. Oh, good morning, everybody. Pedro will be back here in just a second. Good morning, and Crypto Unicorns. Thanks for joining us today. Try and spread the word here on a little social medias. We liked our graphic today. Let me turn this banner off here.
To do whatever you want.
All right, everybody. Try and get this show started here. I'm just putting the word out in the social media a little bit here.
I tell you, man,
hold on, your mic's on. I think we got our shit together here, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great show we call DYOR Live. Like it says on the masthead right there. It also says up above me, 71,000 Bitcoin given back its gains. It's performance gains, people who are jumping off bridges, they're done, they've maxied out, they're finished with Bitcoin. Does it diss them once again? We'll talk, of course, more about that in a little bit. Anyway, welcome everybody. It is March 18th, 2026, one day after St. Patrick's Day. Everyone's running a little slow today. Well, at least everyone that's white and has Irish background, like me, running a little slow today. A whole bunch of Mexicans going, man, we got our own day, man, come on. And anyway, like I said, Bitcoin retracing a little bit. I don't know how many of you saw the graphic I put up on the show today, but I'll put it up for those of you watching on, where's my mouse? On Rumble, you'll see it. For those of the rest of you will not. And that is Bitcoin and crypto in general. Will humans even be needed in the future? Will humans even be needed in the future? Or is crypto just going to run itself? Will AI run itself without even our interaction at all? There's been a lot, Pedro, there's been a lot of good talk about that. There was even that kind of giant hoax in which the AI just all of a sudden created everything and just were doing their own thing. Turned out it was a big marketing effort to get their product going. But that doesn't mean we're not far from that at all. And obviously there's hours and hours and hours of AI talk about that. But really, let's talk about how it affects crypto and digital payments. Will humans even need to do anything in the future? Or will payments just become a thing in the background that you don't even worry about more? Things just happen because your AI agent or whatever just pays for things. And the rules aren't built around that. Regulations and rules are built around humans having responsibility. Who has the responsibility for financial stuff if you're not doing it yourself? Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, my good friend and co-host, Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. Pedro, what's happening today?
Not much, man. It is amazing day, man. It's amazing. The markets are moving. We talked about some cool stuff with BTC, and the market is selling off, like what we were talking about. Also, we're looking at a couple other things about what we're seeing in the news cycle with the war. Oh, hey, how you doing? There's a lot of pictures. How's everybody doing? It's good to see you guys. Oh, you know what? I love this picture. I don't know if you guys ever know. I was looking at it, and somebody was telling me, they're like, "What do you have?" Like it looks like a bunch of clown stuff. And I know these pictures of like rainy, beautiful, like a summer's day in a park. I take a lot of these pictures. Or not pictures, but screenshots of these pictures like that. And so they're like, yeah, it looks kind of weird with you behind it whenever I'm watching your video. And I go, oh, really? And he goes, yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it, almost have it like where you can see it, because it just looks kind of crazy. And I said, or maybe to say like a sunset or something like that. I go, you know what? I can see that perspective. I see that. And,
well, yeah, that's the problem. Is a lot of times you see the picture and you're like, hey, this is pretty cool. But most of the time you're on screen, I just have you in a little box and not full screen, so you can't get the full effect, right? Like right now, I see your head. I just see your head on the broadcast screen, and what looks like clown puke in the background. Because
that's what he said.
Because that's all you see. I don't see the whole picture. Yeah. Get the inspiration from the design.
Yes. So he's like, maybe just like a sunset, because everybody can understand a sunset and know the colors. I'm like, I've got a lot of those. Good point.
Pedro, I was on a Zoom call recently with 3 other people, and I had my usual space background or something like that. And all 3 people had the same fake living room with the piano in the backdrop. Yeah. I'm like, and for some reason, none of them noticed. I was like, are all you guys sitting next to each other in the kitchen? And they're like, what? I'm like, look at your backgrounds. And they all started laughing and stuff. It was the same, Zoom gives you a couple of default backgrounds, and they just, they all pick the same one. Like, all right, someone's got to switch because this is looking weird.
It actually lets you know what type of personality they would be. Like,
I know, and some people pick some boring shit. And you're like, you must be the accountant, right? They're like, how'd you know? I'm like, okay. I got it.
Just intuition. Yeah. The other thing I thought was really interesting as well is when you look at what's actually happening with AI, I think it's not slowing down. And you keep hearing these news sources of literally saying like the tech bros are absolutely going bonkers with what's happening with NVIDIA, and they call, what was it? Something crab call. I think it's called crab call or claw. And it's just everybody. Yet I keep hearing the media keep saying, has the AI boom stopped? Has it stagnated? Have they stopped seeing it grow? And I'm like, dude, they are trying to get so many people to sell their positions in all these stocks so that they can buy up. Like, I'm just like, oh my goodness, bro, they're hitting this so hard. Like,
it's so awesome once you learn to recognize that pattern.
Oh, absolutely.
And all of a sudden you see it, you're like, man, there's just the doom and gloom in these stories, and then you're like, wait a minute, what's the result of people believing these? And you're like, sell, and then they'd sell, and they're like, oh, of course. None of these institutions want to buy all these AI stocks at 700 times earnings or 1,000 times earnings. They want to buy it at near bankruptcy, right? Right when they don't have enough money to make payroll, but they have an awesome product, and their stock price goes to zero. But they know they have an awesome product. Like Warren Buffett, he said, I'll just go, they have a good management team, they have a good product. Do they invest in their business? Yep. All right. Doesn't matter if they're near bankruptcy because they're going to do good things. It goes in, buys them, clears off the things that they worry about, which is their debt, and then lets the team do it. And that's exactly what you're saying with the news cycle is happening in AI.
Exactly. Thank you for
because all these people, they're not making any money. These guys. I mean, actually, Elon is, because he charges people a lot for Grok, and people pay it because they get their blue check mark too on X.
Yep. Which was brilliant of him.
I know, it was brilliant. And I think the sunroof in their Tesla works now too because of it. Oh, you didn't pay for Grok, your sunroof's not going to work. But anyway, the rest of the people aren't making any money to cover their infrastructure costs, and so they got a long time to. They got to earn a lot of money for a long time to pay all this stuff off. And right now, they're all using investment and corporate finance tricks, like that whole EBITDA scheme where people announce their earnings before all of their expenses. We did really good. We made all sorts of money before our expenses, and that's what AI is doing right now. And so you're right. Get those stocks cheap. You got to put the word out like this is over. It's done. What's next? And then all of a sudden, one of those AI companies, like a year from now, announces, "Hey, we didn't lose any money." No, it's not that. They we thought we were going to lose $250 million this quarter. We only lost $10 million. And that's the wick on the candle. So, it's like, wait, what? All of a sudden, then they come in and buy cheap.
Put it like this: we saw, now granted, Meta changed its name in August of I think it was August, or I forget exactly, but it was in 2021, 2022, right? When they were trying to do the whole entire meta world, and you come in, you connect with people, right? You saw the stock go from $300 literally to $100, right? Or I think it was the low was 80 something, and then it skyrocketed. They got it for 1/3 of the price. Actually, less than that, maybe 1/4, 1/5. Excuse me. And then it went from 80, or where is this? Let me make sure I get it correct. It went from $88 in 2022 November, all the way back up to 796, an 8x, literally, in the time of 3 years. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 years. And the part that is so obscure is that nobody talked about this. Nobody's talking about this, right? And granted, we saw this happen, one, primarily because we saw within Meta, they really started hitting hard on Llama, their open. It was open source usage for their AI. In addition to that, to catapult with the growth, they also opened up their ad system, right, for people,
right,
and allow them to move things in different ways. And yet nobody said anything. So I'm waiting, because we're peaking here, for this to sell back off down to these lower levels here of that 35 or 357-ish, 340 area, potentially even lower, but I don't think they're going to drop it that far when we start to see a sell-off in the market. And you best believe those guys are going to go through and buy this. And right now we keep hearing negative stuff about Bitcoin, negative stuff about Meta, negative stuff about Gemini, Google, IE, Grok. Is the hype up? But all that they're doing, and this is the other part I thought was really interesting. NVIDIA has remember we talked about up here, right up in this level for NVIDIA, where there was it was almost like it was all-time highs up here, but we were just right here. When they were saying, it's amazing, la, 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 la. And then all of a sudden, we saw the sell-off the next day. So part of me is just they're trying to get people to buy NVIDIA up here so they can short it, right? And so they got their shorts in around these levels here, right? We'll hear the news cycle come out. Now that they have their shorts in, right, they want people to sell off their positions, right? And so it all is predicated on NVIDIA staying above the 200-day period moving average on the daily here. This area right here is really important for them to stay above. Right now we're fighting with that, but it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
But we heard the story about NVIDIA. The $1 trillion story, and then it was they assuaged investors' fears and said, no, we weren't lying there. We just meant over 3 years, not 1 year. And then people are like, oh, okay. But when are we going to start hearing the negative news about NVIDIA? It'll probably come in supply chain stories. The supply chain can't handle it. NVIDIA looking down because they don't make their own stuff. That story will come out, and as soon as we hear that we're like, it's going to be time to buy soon, and their stock will go down as a result. We should keep an ear out for that, see if that forms.
Absolutely. Actually, yes, dude. That would actually.
Supply chain. You watch. That's what it'll come out. That's how it'll come out. As soon as you start hearing that, take a big short. And you just got to figure out when what's the turning news cycle? What's the what's the retest on the news cycle?
dude, and there's a part that's we shouldn't laugh, dude, because there's gonna be a lot of people, they're gonna be hurt, and there's anyways, but it's dang it. You know what? The other thing we could do, and we have such a, we've got a decent crew out there that pays attention to just everything under the sun, which I absolutely adore with our crew, man. Our guys are just awesome. And I feel like there's this, we get, Crypto Mike to go through, and he literally, he'll send us stuff. Also, dude, why am I forgetting his name? Oh my goodness, Walter. What is, Alpha Wolf. Alpha Wood's ears always to the ground. We could almost create our own system of our guys just scouring for stuff, and we could figure out what is actually, I don't know. I'm just off the wall there.
Or you can just get an RSS feed and put in the keyword NVIDIA and
yeah. Good fun.
Scrolls down your screen. And actually, that's what you could do. There we go. You build an AI agent with one of these platforms. It says read every NVIDIA article and rate it as positive or negative in light of their stock price, and sort them for me, count them, and come up with a ratio. And the ratio is growing. It's 60% negative stories, and you're like, all right, and all of a sudden it's 80% negative stories. You're like, sell.
Yeah. You know what? It's even more. If we correlate that with crossovers and I would love if we could actually see what the AI connection would be with, and go back and back test, and when we're at all-time highs or certain things, what would be the percentage level of a crash of a stock based off of news cycles in relationship to the TA? That would be a, like, not a guarantee. There's never ever a guarantee, but I mean, high correlation chance. We just did some back testing relating news articles to turning events. I think that I honestly think that would be it.
I think it's a good plan. Welcome Space Cat to the show. Thanks for joining us. He says, good day everyone, in belated St. Patty's Day. I've been absent, but I'm here today. Well, thanks for joining us, Space Cat. I realize you're probably at the gym listening to us, but if you want us to go over something today, just drop it in the chat and we'll be happy to look it up for you, and it goes for anyone else. If we're not talking about something you want us to talk about, bring it up. We'll bring up the chart, take a look at it. Commodities, crypto, stocks, whatever. We're here to please. We're here to please.
Within reason.
Within reason, right. Anyway, let's go back to Bitcoin. And yesterday, you'd given a roadmap to what you thought was going to happen, which I have conveniently completely forgotten.
It's okay. We talked about this
earlier. Oh, yeah. Now I see the chart. Now I remember. But anyway, let's go over that and see how today's retracement fits into that.
Yes, excellent. We talked about it hitting here. I said it might break through this, but I don't think it will, right? And so that's why we put this liquidity area right here at this level, so either here or here. But I said I want to see it go up like we've seen it. And I said I was not eerie, that's the wrong word. I mean, I was encouraged with the amount of volume coming in. And we went through and we looked at, here we go, at this chart here, right? This chart is basically the conglomeration of all of the exchanges in crypto and the actual buying of the real, or the token itself versus just the perpetual futures, right? And so it's important to be able to see both. And one of the things we talked about is we have a good amount of volume coming in. It was pretty good here. I'm seeing it go down, but my biggest thing is I didn't really see a lot of demand wicks, and we saw more supply wicks, right? And then I pointed out on our chart right here, this was the as I can't draw a straight line there. Just jacked. I wish they would do tools on this, but it serves its purpose, right? I don't mark this up. This would be actually a smart. I would pay for aggregate trade to allow me to be able to use tools like you would do in trading platforms. But you can see here we hit this area here, and now we're seeing the sell-off. And so, like I talked about, where would I expected to see it come back down to is around that 68,000 area, and definitely a little bit further down. Now, like I said, I want to see it go up, right? I want to see it go up. So I think we'll come down, we'll tap these levels, boom, boom, and then see it go back up here, right? Because we talked about the 3-month push. So we would see it go up, go down to go up. I know that sounds weird, but it looks something like this, right? Down to go up, to go down, to go up. So you have a W pattern, an asymmetrical W pattern, or something that looks like this.
What time frame is that there? Is that the daily?
Yeah, this is the daily. Yeah.
I might add, Bitcoin volume is still low, as you know, by the metric that I use is what's been the 20. I shouldn't say I use this metric. I mention this metric on the show because it's always there over on the graph, the price graphic. The great graphic machine shows 44 billion, and 44 billion is low. Usually we see 60 to 80 billion at this time of day in the past 24 hours. Now I realize today is FOMC though, right?
Yeah.
and we're not expecting a rate cut. There's 99% ratings on CME and the poly market and stuff that no rate cut is coming. But still, the liquidity is out of the market today. If Bitcoin is down, I should keep track of the volume on other things. You know, an easy way to see that would just be what the Nasdaq volume is, the stock exchange volume. Interest rate decision, right? It's at 375, predicted 375, and it's going to be in 45 minutes from now. And so maybe you'll see some action after. But people, like I said, the United States government made a mistake by switching to being very public and having press conferences and stuff like that. I shouldn't say the U.S. government, I should say the Fed. For interest rate changes, they should just do it like they used to and just change them, and it is what it is. But now they affect the market all week. I mean, literally the whole week. People on Monday morning, believe it or not, people plan in advance. I'm particularly not good at that, but I'm learning. And on Sunday nights and Monday mornings, you know, on Sunday nights, which is Monday morning in New York, Sunday night, which is Monday morning in Asia, Sunday night in New York. Branch offices of the big firms start planning the week out. And when employees get to work on Monday morning, they first of all see how the week opened overseas, but they also have a weekly plan that people have already put a couple hours into, have thought. And that plan is different this week because FOMC is in it. And they have a different trading plan all week because everyone else does things differently. So if everyone's doing things differently, different algorithms have to work, different styles of trading have to work, and they have less money in the market until after, because God forbid they be in the market and there's a surprise out of there. Jerome Powell gets up and says, we're cutting rates by a whole point. And the market goes crazy. And it's not like the big firms are going to lose a ton of money. They've got plenty of money. But their people will call them, their phones will ring off the hook. Why didn't you guys know this? Why didn't you guys know this? And that's what they want to avoid. They have, for every person they have buying, they have someone selling. So for every person that makes $1 of their customers, there's generally someone that loses $1 because there's people doing everything. You can be, half their customers can be long, the other half can be short because they have a different trade on. One has a monthly trade on, one has an hourly trade on. Or they just see the market differently. It's no big deal. But they don't want their phones ringing. Like that video that was part of our learning class, Pedro. The best day is when the guy's just sitting there watching all his screens. Just do. What's the worst day they have? When something happens that causes people to call, and they're like, I gotta talk to people on the phone and explain stuff. That's what they want to avoid. And so they stay out of the market today, and change their trading plan all week, because just in case something unknown comes out of Jerome Powell's mouth, even if the rates are the same, and he just explains something in which a reporter goes, oh, wait, that doesn't make any sense, and then they flub it, and the markets go crazy. He's lying.
Well, here's the thing. I think they've learned. This is why they have a wordsmith who's now the lead, who speaks. They used to have financial guys who used to say stupid things and cost the market. Now they have somebody who got his degree and literally how to speak.
Right.
You know, he and so his ability to do that, and they've learned that, you know, he's well at managing his emotions. He doesn't fly off the handle, but he's also warm enough to be able to connect with the public. And that was actually brilliant of them to actually have him there. And I know he was brought up there by Trump. Trump is the one who actually appointed him. But I thought it was brilliant that they're trying to keep him there, because you've seen the market do, like, it's been steady. You know, he's been smart in how he is able to really talk about the market and what's actually happening. So to me, I look at it and I go, brilliant. Like, he's done a great job. Like when we already know that the jobless claims here, right? Like we've talked about, I'm expecting to see it be very low. I don't think it's going to be 215. I think we're going to see maybe, I think it's going to be higher. I think we'll see like 240, 250, if not higher, right? Because we're watching what's really happening. He will do excellent at communicating what they're trying to do, right? And I think that's really important right here. Also, tomorrow they have home sales. If home sales is really low, right? If he needs to come out and talk about what we're thinking about doing. We're going to are we going to lower rates to bring in more home sales, which stimulates the broad economy. He'll be able to be smart about it and how his delivery. So it's one of those things that I think having him there was smart, because it does bring, even though he has a celebrity position now, he's still smart in how he communicates it.
Yeah, I would say that, and he does well staying out of politics. When the media comes to him and says, President Trump said this and President Trump said that, blah, 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 and he's like, you know what? I'm not here to talk politics. I'm here to talk about the economy. And I do like that. Because it's likely whoever Trump puts in next, I shouldn't say it's likely. I said it's possible that he comes in and is a grandstanding buffoon and does that deference like you see Trump's cabinet members. This drives me crazy. Even though I like the direction Trump is doing a lot of things, when his Secretary of Defense and his Secretary of this and his Secretary of that get up and say, if not, the first thing they say, well, because of the leadership of President Trump, and then they pander to him for 5 minutes before they say, what they wanted to say. He's just like, come on, stop pandering. And Jerome Powell doesn't do that. He just said, the political thing is that thing over there, and I'm not part of that. And that's why we're an independent body. And I do like that. But my overall point is should he even be speaking? And I think that answer is no. The Fed shouldn't release any information. They shouldn't talk about it. They should just, when the committee gets together and says, you know what, the economy's overheating, we need to raise rates here. They should just press the button and do it. Oh, rates ticked up. And if a quarter point is a lot to shock the market, then make it an eighth of a point. And do an eighth this month, and 2 weeks later do another eighth, whatever. Or just put it put it to fucking decimals and make it real time shit. Like, just a tenth, a cent. Just keep, don't make it so drastic.
Yeah. Yes. And I think you nail the point. Is that's just so much hoopla in the market that just is unnecessary. It really is. Absolutely. It's actually kind of sad what we're seeing. But overall, I think when you look at the market, I think the crypto market is hot. I know it sounds crazy, but I was talking with somebody yesterday and I said, listen, I'm buying crypto. Like, I put my money in crypto for everything. And either it's in cash or crypto, right? And she was sitting there like, I hope it plays out for you. I go, here's the thing. It's going to, because it's the most efficient thing out there. Like that, you don't understand. It's like in 1970s and 80s, which is when this person was, a teenager. I said to her, I said, would you have ever thought that Polaroid was going to go bankrupt, or JC Penney's was going, JC Penney's, or not JC Penney's,
Sears?
No, Montgomery Ward was going to go out, right? Like you had JC Penney's, Sears, Roebuck, and Montgomery Ward's. Like these were the titans. And
it's like saying, Amazon's going to go broke and liquidate. And people will be like, well, you're crazy, man. You are crazy.
Yeah, it's like the idea of, and yet things happen all the time. And right now, you don't realize that the railroad tracks are being built right now. You can't see the trains running, but the railroad tracks are literally being built. I'm watching them, right? I know, and so I'm watching, looking to see which one they're going to start running on. Imagine if you were able to, during XYZ time when the market was being, selling off in 2000, if you had the insight and foresight to sit there and say, you know what, this level is a good level, I'm going to buy here because nobody's buying. You would be sitting on your stack of cash would be almost 10 times, right? So, or it would have been 10 times because the market was sitting at 700, and it went all the way up.
Hold on a sec, Pedro. Pedro, you having any internet problems? You are red. Your little meter here is red, like you for throughput. Oh, it just turned green. For both feeds, your phone must be on Wi-Fi too. Sorry, but you got all blurry for a minute there, and then your voice started. So I checked out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's green now. It's back.
Yeah. Long story short, I believe crypto is one of those things that is going to be used because the railroad tracks are being built. All I'm looking to see is which one is the 8 train, which one is the 5 train, which one is the 8 train going to, Connecticut, or which train is going to.
And for the people that know Chicago, which one is the red line going to 95th Street at 4 a.m.?
There you go.
If you have to ask, you don't want to be on that train. I mean, nope.
I love freaking Baby Draco. Baby Draco's in the house. So
welcome,
what's up,
Jesus.
Man?
He's on a Rumble today. Pedro, I'm going to go refill my water here. I'll be right back here.
All right, it's all good. I love these guys, man. It's freaking awesome. So let's go ahead and pull up some other stuff here real quick. So we talked about the weekly chart here, and I talked about we're going up, and I said I expect us to come back down. Remember, I did the little circle thing right here. I said I want to see it hold on that when it comes down, right? We saw it go up on Monday and Tuesday. I said I would expect to see a pullback, and so Tuesday, what happened is it went up, hit our zone here. Right, you can see pop, boop, and then it said doop, and came in right here, and that right there, those little sounds, that is what we call professionalism, and those are real words. Nice little pretty green or purple line right here. We're gonna come down in here and touch that. The nice little pretty gray line right here.
What on earth did I miss? I'm over getting the water and I hear you talking about little sounds, and I'm like, I don't think those came through the system. So.
Oh no! I was just saying here. I was explaining how on Monday and Tuesday we saw the market kind of go up. I said I expected to kind of pull back right here or right here, and then I said, where do I want to see it go to? And so we clicked on the weekly chart, and you can see here on the weekly chart we closed above our friend right here, our nice little cool friend, which is called the 8-period weekly.
Look at that! I didn't notice that. Look at that. This is an important sign, ladies and gentlemen. This is an important sign.
Hey. Nah. All right.
But it's interesting. It's interesting. Hold on. Let me, my newbie, look at this. It's interesting to note that.
Wait. Be careful, though, because.
No, I'm going to talk about next week. Next,
okay,
you're going to see this SMA is the purple one there is coming down. And so even though that we're on the north side of the SMA now, which is good, and that indicates that we're going to go up on Bitcoin. We can still come down first because that SMA, at the end of this week, that SMA is likely going to close down lower, and that lower level could be in the 60s, which Pedro was talking about there. But still, we could still be in, bullish because the candle's still above the moving average and starting the move up there. Yes. So it's like we say, we're like, ooh, yay, bullish. Hey, gotta wait to pull the trigger. You gotta wait. You gotta say, let's figure out where the best place to get in is. Unless you're unless you're saying I'm just getting in and I'm gonna sell in 3 years, then it doesn't matter. If you get in today or next week.
Mm-hmm. So this is what I'm looking for, as I want to see it come down. Got a nice little slip and slide all the way down here. Look at that ERC, and we're gonna slip on down to roll. Come on, slip. Don't you carry nothing, it won't. Anyways, there's a little bit of whiz right there for you, for your theater buffs over there.
The whiz.
The whiz. It's gonna whiz on down the road.
Next thing you know, we're gonna be singing Michael's Thriller album. Thriller.
We both. Oh man. And this is the entertainment you get with us. Are you not entertained? Anyways, dude, I stumbled on one of the most epic Instagram profiles ever. They take Trump statements and they put him into like a cartoon. I wish I would have done this. It has, I think each one has at least 1 million views.
I know. They're awesome.
They, you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know if I know the exact account, but one of them that I see all the time in my feed is they take a sentence of his and turn it into a rap song. And he repeat. They're all of them are so funny.
Yeah, no, this is more of a, what's the word I want to use? It's literally quintessential statements he would say. So like the snow, right? It's like a cartoon, and he like basically saying, you know what? All this snow, we didn't ask for this snow. You know, we create snow. We're the ones who do this. And we have the best snow, and I can change it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a deal with it, and we're gonna talk to it, and it's gonna do its own thing, and we're gonna make sure it takes care of us. You know, it's gonna be our friend. We're gonna build a wall so we can hold back that snow as well.
Our mountains are higher. They're higher than the Alps. Are better than Europe snow. They're huge. It's obviously better. It's higher.
So I feel like there's this it's almost epic. It was epic. I was watching it. I was literally crying because it was so funny. And I was like, dude, how is this not bigger? Like, I gotta find it. Next time, I was gonna send it to you last night, but I was just like, But I literally said to myself, I should have done. This is something that I should have done. I actually had a friend of mine creating cartoons, and I almost said to him, I said, you know what? It'd be smart to actually do one of all the political people, of like Trump, Obama, the Clintons, just having fun of how they talk and almost make fun of everybody, right? Nobody's safe. And I literally was just like, this would be great, like absolutely phenomenal. But I just didn't jump on it. It was one of those ideas I was like at night thinking about it, going, that would be smart.
Hey, Seuss.
I didn't do it.
To your point, when I just did tried to do a Trump imitation, which I'm particularly bad at, I said, oh, that one's really bad. But I thought to myself, I wonder which one I'm doing. And as soon as you said Ren and Stimpy, my mind, Stimpy, you idiot! You idiot! I love that show. That show is...
But that, again, you know what? I thought that was that's Adult Swim. That was not meant for children. Yet children were watching it. Like, so bad. I was like, what is going on? Like, why are children watching this? There's another one. It's called Something Hotel. It's for the Adult Swim. It's like this complete demonic cartoon. But all these kids are freaking watching it, dude. And I'm like, dog, this is not good. Like, children should not be watching this. This is adult content. They do it in a cartoon form. And then, there's layers of humor, right? You have like the child humor where there's like slapstick, people tripping. But then some of the words, you're like, dog, like that is so inappropriate. Like, for children. Like, anyways. So let's talk about BTC, where I think it's going to go for this low, right?
Just quickly for you. Oh, so sorry, Pedro. I was doing this while you're talking. For you youngsters, this is Ren and Stimpy here on the screen here, and it's the funniest cartoon. And it really is. You're like, oh, nice kids cartoon. No. It's for adults. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, Pedro.
I don't even think we even have kids Just they'd be like, these guys are boring. They're old people.
Hey, Stu says, Pedro Damas, you idiot, you picked the wrong token. Never mind, Pinky in the brain. I'm gonna take over the world.
Take over the world. What are we doing today? What we do every day, or what we do every day.
Back to Bitcoin.
Yes. Anyways, so let's focus here. So ultimately, I'm looking at like that 68 level to the lower levels here of that 64, 60-ish area, and see really kind of where the market's going to come down and try to tap to get liquidity to push it back up. So we'll see if it pops off of this and moves up, or if we see it pop off of this and see it move up here. So that's ultimately what I'm looking at. I think around this level here is really where we're going to see it kind of come down to that 70,000 and see it move up. But again, there's the 70 and 60,000 that we can play off of there. And my primary reason why is when you look at the weekly chart on BTC, that weekly chart is showing bullishness. So we'll see what happens. Ultimately, the volume is low here. And so for me, as I'm looking at them, I'm going, that's not a good thing. We'll find out though. I just had an idea. Quick question. Any cool news that we have in regards to just random facts around the world, crypto news that we need to know about?
No, let me go look at my tabs here. I had a couple set up, but mostly it was just FOMC today and talking about that. But one of the, if we go back to Washington, D.C., the crypto market structure bill, which we were all hoping that Congress can get through without being onerous and problematic to the industry and just actually being a good playing ground for everybody and not the banks putting rules to keep us out, is still struggling. Basically, after a lot of setbacks, not the House Republicans, this U.S. Senate is getting its act together here, and might be coming to a vote in April for it. And if it doesn't go in April, it's not going to go before the summer break and elections. Remember, the third of the United States Senate is up for renewal? Up for election. And so they go into recess, and a lot of people go into campaign mode. And so if they don't get it done, it's not going to happen. And if it's not going to help someone get elected in their district, so in other words, there has to be no bad news, Pedro, in crypto world between now and no crash in Bitcoin, no Iran hacking, taking money, no North Korea hacking, no Elizabeth Warren going crazy or anything like that. If there's any bad news, 33% of the senators that are up of the Senate, those senators up for re-election, will just be like, let's keep this off the table and let us address this in the fall after we're all sworn in, after winning. So that I find that to be interesting. And once again, it proves the point that Chris and Justin were talking about, the crypto swamp creatures, were saying that ultimately crypto is going to become a political football for Washington, D.C. And it's not, while it's big in our eyes and it's grown a lot, it's big to get everyone's attention. It's not big enough where it can be traded for. You trade your influence in crypto for something better, which is like getting reelected. And so we shall see how it goes. In my mind, after reading these series of articles about the market structure bill, the best thing to happen the rest of this year is nothing, because something bad could happen, and also nothing happening is not bad. But we want the new Senate to come in and not have to worry about elections and pass good laws, not people when elections come up and when deadlines are formed artificially like this, bad things get put in bills to make the news cycle better. And the news cycle is short term. We want long-term goodness with this bill. And so I would like to see this die this Senate year and not the other. Oh, by the way, Pedro, speaking of elections, not to sidetrack us completely, but did you see the guy that the Texas Democrats elected in their primaries for U.S. Senate, because the U.S. senator from Texas, I can't remember his name, he's retiring or whatever. And no, he's not retiring. He's Republican. That's right. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. But what's her name? Crockett. Jasmine Crockett, who's the House of Representative. They gerrymandered her out of her office. They've eliminated her office.
Her district.
So she's her district, correct. And so she said, I'm really popular. I'm going to run for Senate. She got beat by this radical whack job dude who basically says a woman's place is in the house. And
what?
Yeah, all his old videos are now surfacing. He's just whacked. I can't remember his name. Not going to give him more algorithm stuff, but she got beat by this guy. That is a complete whack job, and that shows that the reason that she got elected in the first place was because everyone voted by race in her district, because she has her old district was one of the rare African American districts in Texas. And in that her fame and glory and all the news that she was getting was just manufactured by the news giving her a platform. And when she actually had to compete against somebody who has zero credentials and is a general whack job, according to all these new videos that are surfacing of him, that her actual pull and her ability to be a good politician was close to zero. And that's like most activists. People that are activists in life, and just kind of they get things done by raising hell, make poor politicians. They don't really get anything done. You need to get friends. You need to have friends in Washington, D.C. You need to be able to work across the aisle and compromise with people to get things done, like our old Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan analogy. And she didn't do that. She's like AOC. She raises a lot of grief, gets a lot of media. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And those people do not do well in Washington, D.C. And we almost had that in my district here in Illinois. The lady Jan Schenkenes, blah, 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 whatever, is retiring. She's been in Congress since Congress was founded in the 1700s. And a social media influencer was running to take her spot. No political experience at all, but is very good at raising hell on the internet, like Trump bad, evil, 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 evil. Can you believe this? All this type of stuff. And Pedro, she was the one that went to the protests, the ICE protests here, with her megaphone and was like, I'm going to protest. And then an ICE agent just picked her up and threw her across the pavement. And when she, the guy's like, you got to move, the vans are coming out, and she didn't move, and he just moved her. He just like, well, you got to move. So, and she's like, oh, you just violated my rights. And even the other protesters like, no, you can't stand in front of the vans because they'll hurt you. Anyway, she almost won, but fortunately they elected, the Democrats elected the former mayor of Evanston, Illinois. He's kind of a whack job too, but all the Democrats in Illinois are whack jobs. But at least he's a politician. He's a politician, and he knows how to get things done. And even though his views are way too progressive for anything that I would ever consider normal, he at least has been elected and reelected in a district here, and knows how to work the room, as they say. Whereas this whatever name, her last name was some unpronounceable name, Kat Azagabanga Jungabanga, and AOC and Jasmine Crockett. They're just mouths that drive people crazy, and they don't know how to get anything done. They know how to create clicks and news clips and all that, but they don't know how to get stuff done. And that's what we need in Washington, D.C., get stuff done. But with the election coming up, I don't think anything's going to get done. Space Cat says, I love MOD Mafia, part of the Pump Fund Hackathon. They are showing signs that they're going to be big. Big, hopefully.
That's what she said. Sorry. That was so hard not to say something. It was anyways, I apologize. That was inappropriate. So let's talk about BTC. Ethereum. Ethereum I thought was really interesting. is that, like I talked about, this acting as more of the one that I want to play, right? When I buy it, simply because this, I think we are going to see a bigger rally, a bigger push, right? From the lows here to the highs. And so I think we'll see a all-time high and even push harder because of all of the demand. And again, I know, Tom, you're going to say, and I think you're right in this aspect, that, but it just costs so much money to interact with it. But here's the thing, that is, I think Ethereum is going to be adopted by the institutions. And I think they're going to remove Vitalik. I think they're going to make it a corporate one, and it will be used pretty much by the banks to work with with us, because they can charge a fee through Ethereum and hence make money off of that. And so this is where a part of me almost feels like this is why they want to move more towards Ethereum versus anybody else.
Sorry, I just had an ambulance going by there. I'm at the global headquarters, Canadian headquarters. I shouldn't say global. Yep. Canadian headquarters of DYOR Media. We're up a few floors. We're up in the sky there. It's so highfalutin there. Our big media coming into the penthouse. So the sirens aren't so loud. But here in Chicago, at the Midwestern headquarters of DYOR Media, we're about 6 feet from the street. So,
6 feet.
All the I know when there's a carjacking, and I know when there's a
bus.
Some dude drops dead. Just sirens. The police. It's really funny. I'm sure I've explained this in the past, but I live right on the edge of police districts. On that side of the street is one police district, and this side of the street's another one, and it's a major road here. And so the police use it as a transit way when they get the call on the other side of the district. So they go, and so at any time you'll see police officers with their lights and sirens screaming, going opposite directions. Like, and you're like if you don't understand how the police system works in this particular neighborhood, you'd think that they're driving around looking for someone shooting or something like that. They're you'd freak out. But one guy's responding to the store alarm down at Walgreens, the other guy's responding down there to a home break-in or something. But they're in different districts and they're coming from different directions. It's the funniest thing. You're like, what the? They're going different ways. And fire trucks go different directions too. You're like, no, the fire's that way. No, it's that way. Don't. But I get all of this in my ear here, wee, especially at 3 a.m. Love it. I always love the 3 a.m. siren. This is another side tangent. The 3 a.m. sirens, the police and the fire department at 3 a.m. Only use their siren if absolutely needed. Come into an intersection, they just burp the air horn, burp, 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 burp. But the private ambulances, who have lawyers looking over their shoulders every second, leave their siren on full fucking blast at 3 a.m. And at every intersection, they have to slow down to 5 miles an hour, even if they have the green light or something like that. And I have a major intersection here, so they creep through it. Even at 3 a.m., there's no cars. I'm like, you're just like, you want to reach out and strangle them. I actually wrote an email to one of the providers, and I said, please, for the love of God, can we get some sleep? Because there's a hospital down there, and they use it as a transit way. And I'm like, you don't need the siren at 3 a.m. And the person got back to me, and they're like, well, according to our policies, that blah, 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 state law, code, such and such, yada, blah, 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 blah. I said, you come live over here and listen to your effing sirens. Anyway, side tangent of the day.
Yes. Love our side tangents. That's really where the real juice is at.
Yes, Baby Draco, MasterCard bought a crypto firm. They have bought like 82 different digital finance companies in a strategy that I just can't figure out, because each one they make a big announcement that we're getting in the crypto space, in digital assets, digital payment space. We want to be on the cutting edge. But they keep buying them. It's like they buy one and they're like, oops, that wasn't it. And they buy another one. That one really didn't work out. And they're like, they buy another one so we can integrate this into our system. I'm like, well, you just said last month. This platform will integrate crypto fully into our system where you don't even. They keep announcing these new things. And so I think they're struggling with their strategy. or they're trying to buy everybody so that they can keep a handle on their fees. I bet you they have. You know what? That's a good point. They're probably trying different things. MasterCard's a massive company. Once the banks spun them off into their own company, they're probably trying to see which markets they can make money in before really going deep into it. Because they're used to making 3%. The wife and I had a customer want to pay by credit card the other day, and the family business, as they say, doesn't normally take credit cards. We usually just get paid electronically. We'd rather not because of the fees. And I didn't estimate the fees properly. And I sent a note in. I said, I think you charge too much fees because according to it, it should be blah, blah, blah. It should be 2.75% if the charge is done this way. And they got back to me almost right away and said the client had a rewards card. So you have to pay the extra fee for that. And I was like, I wanted to jump through the screen.
And grab somebody.
Grab a nice person's neck, whoever was on the chat robot, whatever, and rip their head off and shit down their neck. I'm like, what I get out of the transaction is less because you gave the guy frequent flyer miles? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
They're like,
yes.
And so a quick Google of that, and they're like, yeah, no, they don't pay for anything. You pay for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I dig into it. If they have a cashback card, it's different. Yeah, the cashback card, you pay for that. I pay for that. And I'm like, motherfucker, just give me lower prices. And so all these companies like MasterCard and Visa are freaking out because with crypto, even if Ethereum and you don't really know what the fees are, it's still lower than what. And when you send someone $100, you pay the $100 and a few cents now. For a while it had to cost you $200 to send $100. The receiver knows what they're getting. If you send someone payment for an invoice, you say, I'm sending you $100, you get $100.
No.
That's not how it works when you pay with your credit card. The vendor, even if, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that it would cost 3%. And somebody would actually have to pay hundreds of dollars to make a financial transaction that is something that happens 1 trillion times a day. I mean, it's completely ridiculous.
This is why Ethereum will be the blockchain. This is the one that they'll use for the actual market. That they'll use because they can actually say, I'm using crypto. And then they're making percentage. I would be shocked, right, that Lee, as well as I forget the other guy's name, the other financial guy, not Tommy Lee. Why am I forgetting his name? Bro, what's his name? Anyways, I'm using this because him and a few other people are going to be just. They understand how the government works. Well, yeah, kind of the government and the financial institutions. They're not going to give up. Unless they are crushed and dominated, but even then, the next person will come up and be like, how do we extract fees from people? And so this is where you can sit there and go, okay, how do you play this? And it's just, it's partly how it is.
One of the other things that... Oh, sorry. I thought you finished there. Sorry.
I did. It was as simple as saying, I just don't see them allowing us to have something free.
One of the other things that I thought I'd bring up on the news thing, and I'll drop the link, but it's on YouTube. You can find it. It's a show called Crypto Castle. It's a bunch of skits about early in the Bitcoin days when Bitcoin was only $200. And it's really funny. And it's all stuff that all of our viewers would enjoy. Crypto Castle on YouTube. Takes a look at the early days of Bitcoin and the sad evolution it's gone since then. New YouTube series, Crypto Castle, dials back the clock to 2015 when Bitcoin was just $250. Viv Ford stars as Viv, who moves into a house of early Bitcoin adopters. The show looks at crypto as a subculture and how it's evolved since the early days. Funny. Jesus, I totally agree with you. I just switched the funny thing is that I just switched from Square to Stripe, not because I wanted to, but because a ticketing system that we use for events used Stripe, and it made just more sense to use that Stripe system. But Square was the one I was talking about, where I was like, what do you mean I'm paying for that? I'm like, I don't want to pay for that. And right, the other ones that want monthly fees, and then you got to rent their machine and stuff like that. At least Square, you just buy it. Yeah, you don't need them now that your phone has NFC in it. But the other people would say, oh, we're going to send a salesperson to come see you. And I'm like, wait, whoa, we got this wrong. If you have to send a salesperson to come see me, that means this is going to be really expensive because that person's time is valuable. And so that means whatever you're going to sell me is too expensive. I'm looking for the just pay and no monthly fees. And most of the merchant companies are like, well, no, you have to pay a monthly fee. We have to pay for account creation and administration of that. And I'm like, you sound like the gas company that says, well, I get charged $32 a month just to have a gas account. The gas company. I don't even use the gas. My apartment is it's south facing, so it's warm all the time. Even in the winter, it's warm. I don't even use gas. It's $32 a month, and I can't turn it off because maybe one day it'll be minus 30 and I need the gas. And my landlord requires you have to have the gas, and you have to have a minimum temperature so that you don't pipes don't freeze and that type of stuff. And I'm like, it's not gonna freeze. It's hot in here. Yeah, Square reads your card from there. But every once in a while, someone has a card that doesn't work. And then God forbid you have to run the Stripe. And it's an extra 0.25% because it's less secure. So you got to pay extra for that. Pedro, or Jesus, we have a 0% refund rate. Never had to refund anybody, no fraud, or 0% fraud. And let me rephrase, I had to refund one person their ticket because they didn't come. But yeah, you still have to pay the fee. Pay the fee. Yep, they keep on. Well, you still ran the transaction, still $100. Crypto Castle, ladies and gentlemen, go watch it. Pedro, I'm not long in the tooth here today. I've got tomorrow. The kids and I are leaving to go to Colorado, and I have an automobile that's not registered right now, so I gotta go do a few things with that. Oh, you're on mute, I think, there, sir.
You were right. That makes sense why I was saying something, and I was like, oh, let's keep talking.
I know, I wasn't looking at, usually I look at us, but this time I was looking at my webpage, so I didn't see you and I, and I'm like, he's being strangely quiet during this. Yeah. Well, I'll just keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm like, okay. What's interesting, did you catch a little bit about Ethereum?
Yeah, when you're talking about Ethereum, yeah.
Okay, all right. I would expect to see Ethereum come down to the lower part of this SMA, which is going to be around that 273 area. So the market comes down to that 273 area. That's this area right here where the 50-period moving average is sitting. So I could see it coming down, peaking, and hitting this area of demand. You also have a quick little liquidity area right here. Just the previous low, but the low of this big day here typically acts as a form of demand with you actually have an area of what do you call boom, and this is going to be the day, so this is going to be number 2, and change that to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vincent from Nigeria in the house.
Thanks for joining us, Vincent. What's up, Vincent? Hope you're doing well, man.
I think you've got some latency issues again there, Pedro. Your things are red, and your internet connection sucks. And you're about 2 seconds behind in your conversation.
That sucks. Well, then that's all she wrote. Oh. That's all she wrote. It's a sad
I could tell. I was like,
sad day in Pedro.
It's like messing with my eyes. Like they were dry and needed to be eye drops because your candles were looking blurry. And I'm like, wait, but the words on my screen are clear. And I was like, oh, this connection's crappy.
That's not good. It's a sad.
You know what? It doesn't seem like it's your connection. I think something in your background, one of your programs, is every 20 minutes doing something like downloading a big chunk of data or something.
Yes. I am getting my PC ready for my my specially made AI for me. So that's actually what's I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I'm having to clean a bunch of stuff up, which I'm extremely excited about. Let's go.
Man, I gotta tell you, I just did this. I had one of my computers, in fact, the one in Ottawa, it said my C drive was full. And I'm like, and I have other hard drives. I'm like, wait, that stuff. And I looked and I'm like, wait, this shouldn't be full. All this, I'm saving all the other data to the bigger drives. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, and I go through and I use PC Manager, Microsoft's little program, to go inspect and find the large files and stuff. And I'm like, there was a couple, but it was like, 50 gigabytes of stuff. And I had 950 terabytes or gigabytes on a 1 terabyte drive full. And I'm like, I don't have anything on there. My OneDrive, my Microsoft OneDrive, was set up to keep everything local. It's in OneDrive, but it also keeps a copy on your computer, so that it's quick to access when you need it. And somehow I had set the setting to do that for every file. I don't want most of the stuff I put on OneDrive. I just want it to stay there, and I don't want it on my hard drive locally because I want it to store it in the cloud. But somehow I set it to save everything, and so it just made a shadow copy on my computer, filled the whole thing up, and didn't tell me, and doesn't show up in Microsoft's own tool that OneDrive is taking up all your space. I had to figure it out.
Oh my goodness! I think that's good.
Yeah, and so what I did is I signed out of OneDrive completely, cleaned all temporary files, and it dropped like 300 gigabytes off my computer. And
then also it doesn't constantly switch, so it's not actually inactive in use, and it's carrying basically a giant backpack. Right,
because it's constantly checking to see if that file has been updated somewhere else in the cloud. Because it doesn't matter where I work, everything's in the cloud. So whether I'm here in Chicago or in Ottawa, my software pulls everything from the same place. So the files that I use every day, they're a total of a couple of megabytes. It's not gigabytes of stuff. I got these graphics over here. It doesn't matter where I open the program. And I'm like, Anyway, that drove me nuts. And that was in the background, all backhauling shit back and forth, creating new copies of stuff. Baby Draco says, Mafia in the house. Vincent's joining with his laptop. Congratulations on finally getting the laptop there, Vincent. Hope you're making good money with AI Wolf there in the crypto world. All the advice that I ever gave Vincent on what to buy in crypto turned out to be complete horseshit. So I gave him things with utilities, and every project with utilities in crypto world just kind of failed, including our former sponsor, Audit Chain. Big hopes for them, and they just did nothing.
What happened?
They can't get their shit together. They keep trying, but can't get their shit together. It's really it's good stuff. The problem is the owner of it. He just doesn't know how to launch something and get it out there and do that kind of stuff. It's a personality problem, not a product problem. But anyway, that's besides the point. Good job.
He's
Vincent.
rude.
He's rude. He's offensive. Not the person.
Gotcha.
Anyway, Vincent, good job. Hopefully you use that tool to better your life. Don't waste the rest of your money on crypto.
Yeah, and if you're going to buy large projects like compound interest will take care of itself, just slow and steady, just learning and growing, and then put your money into something that steadily grows. I think tech stocks, I don't think you can go wrong with the Magnificent Seven. You can also put your money into the top 20 crypto projects. And, there's, I don't know, this is not financial advice.
Just go into the Telegram room, our Telegram room, and you can see the projects that Walter's getting him involved in. And he did. He turned $5 into $8 once. I saw one of your trades. That's a 30% gain. Do that a whole bunch of times. And next thing you know, that adds up fast.
I would agree. That stuff adds up real quick. Dude, my freaking short on crude oil is banging. Sorry, I've been a bit distracted, and this thing is falling.
I have not been looking at the market. I took time. Today I didn't look at the markets at all. I chose to sleep in.
Yep.
Crude oil. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, it had the 820 cross and boom, down.
Bro, that at 8 o'clock or 11 o'clock, right? That pullback, bro, and we had look at the 8-hour candle on crude oil, and dude, it was just screaming to me, we're going down to Chinatown. Let's go. Douglas. What's his name? Who's married to Goldie Hawn?
Kirk Douglas. No.
Kurt Douglas.
Kirk Douglas.
Yeah. He's in a movie.
Escape from New York?
No. I forget exactly what it is. But Kurt Douglas was in a movie. What is up with Copilot, bro? Copilot's been messing up all day for me. Like, in the group. Literally, bro. I was in the group. I didn't see anything. I was like, man, did it get kicked out? Right? Like, I was just been waiting, just watching, just doing my own trades and stuff. And finally, I said something. And then I was like, man, this place was dead today. And then I looked and I went back to it. And literally, bro, it was like everything popped in. And because I didn't activate it, I didn't get any information. I was like, dude, Copilot's been sucking today. No offense with you, Copilot. You do a great job. But just sometimes you be slipping. You can't be
here's
perfect.
what Pedro was talking about here, the crude oil chart. Strangely enough, its chart looks a lot like gold. Not the same time period, but big pump, drop back off, and then slowly staying on the uptrend there. But
Big Trouble in Little China. That's what it's called.
Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, that's
Big Trouble in Little China.
I haven't seen that movie for 30 years.
That was like, I remember as a kid, because that was kind of a kid's movie. I mean, it was an adult movie, but it's like a kid's movie, right? And I remember that statement that he said, we're going down to Chinatown. And I was like, it just stuck in my head. So whenever we're going down, so it pops in. Big Trouble. And I was trying to remember this movie a couple of days ago, or a couple of weeks ago. I was trying to tell you. And anyway, that was a crazy movie. Next. All right, let's jump back here. Crude oil, right? Crude oil is really starting to take. So let's see if we can actually mimic this here. Boom, boom, 12. I already know it's not. Anyhow, we on the 8-hour here, we basically were just showing weakness towards the end. And I was looking at it going we're slowing down here. We're watching the hour candle slow down. Crude oil opens up at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And so, make sure this is correct. Boom, yep. So it's 9 o'clock. That's this period. So we saw it go up and we saw it slow down. And if it was going to continue, right, we would have saw an increase in the bodies of it pushing up, but we did not. So around 11 o'clock. I said to myself, what are the odds of this continuing up? And then self said, hey, we probably aren't, because we're kind of in an area where we're coming up to the peak of yesterday. And so we all know, I talked about this all the time, right? About the peak of another day. There typically is what? Liquidity. And so that liquidity was communicating, hey, we're slowing down. Is it going to push through? Is it not? So then I said, you know what? What are my SMAs telling me? And my SMAs telling me is that we're kind of getting extended as we're pushing forward. So then I said, let's get in on this short. So I said, where's there a potential cross that I can jump in on quickly? And I said, all right, we're coming up here, and we're already starting to see that we are seeing the crossover with pricing above, right? And we're seeing a 8 and 20 cross coming in. And I said, whoo, let's go. I think we're going down. And then from there, we saw no demand wicks coming in. And as those buyers that should have been stepping in were not stepping in, I said, okay, let's see if I can catch in on this. So at the 11 o'clock switch, right, we saw this baby pop down, boom, came up with some demand wicks, but these were absorbed. And then from there, I said, right? And I got in, we put the little shortage right here. And I said, let's go. And it was communicating to me that it wanted to go down. And then we sold off, and then we started the show around here. And I said, I'm short. And I said, we'll see what happens right here. And
is that an hour change there or something with some profit taking?
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. Boom. And then I said, let's go. When I saw this one come in, and I said, ooh. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Pop, pop, pop. Look at that. I'm looking. Excuse me.
I have, I'm new to the oil market, in the modern day oil market, and it does seem to be fairly predictable in when, like, let me rephrase that. I'm used to watching Bitcoin, in which it's predictably unpredictable. I mean, a lot of things in Bitcoin are predictable, some candle action and stuff, but there's a lot of variables because it's not as liquid a market. And crude oil is that the liquidity and the money in the crude oil market is 8 bazillion times more than crypto. So when the market gets moving, it's not like one guy can just press a button and change it. They have to, like Pedro said, not like Pedro said, but sorry about that. But like I was saying, a lot of people have to kind of do the same thing, and so people see the market move. So it does seem to do things more predictably when you see the right patterns come about. I'm not talking about news cycles and when Trump says something and stuff like that. I'm just talking about, like, when an 8 and 20 cross happens, well, generally, X, A is going to happen or B is going to happen.
Yeah.
And not like in Bitcoin where it's like, well, it's probably going to, oh, no, Jim over in California pressed sell. So, well, whale moved stuff. So, but I am enjoying it. No, good.
No, I think what's interesting is that, I think we're coming down to the end of the racetrack, right? The slip and slide. Yeah. So I am looking for this now to turn around. I already took majority of my profit off. So right now I'm just seeing if we're going to see it continue down. And I'm, I've got my stop potentially waiting. If you look down at the daily candle, what is it telling you? Well, this is based off of what was happening with the daily candle. We saw it go up first, right? On a news day. So with a up market on a news day, oh, you haven't learned yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't. The news cycles
yet.
Never
mind.
Not yet.
Yeah, you don't know that yet. Yeah, you'll get there. Okay, sorry. I'm jumping in. I am jumping the gun here. But in that same sense, we're watching this market communicating, hey, look, we are also wanting to see it. So you see it coming down, right? What's one of the first thing I always talk about? As it's coming down and it's continuing into a trend, as it's continuing into it, it's going to tell you what it wants to do next. And so you can see here, look, we got demand wicks. We got demand wicks as we're coming down. And most importantly, you can see here, the only real supply wick was at the top right here. And this is the peak of that hour. So most likely it's going to want to go back up here. The fact that we did come down to a news source area. So you can see here that what does this look like it's doing right here, my friend?
Building a position, consolidating orders.
Building a position, but also
drawing a club. Oh, it's retesting.
Okay, there we go. Yep, it's retesting, right? 1, 2, 3, retest. And so you understand that on the hour, okay? Because obviously the 2 hour on TradingView doesn't work well. So you're not seeing it correctly here. And it is the bane of me because it makes me mad. Absolutely mad. It's maddening for me.
Brando Commando in the house. Thanks for joining us, Brando Commando.
Brando! What's up, dude?
Good to see you again. It's been a while. Thanks for joining us, commenting, asking questions, etc., etc., etc.
Do me a favor. Hit that like, subscribe, and share button, Mr. Brando Commando, and we will do XRP, my friend. Boom, boom, boom. Where are you, XRP? We just make this last little bit. All right, my friend. So we're seeing a bit of that sell-off that we've talked about within BTC. It is affecting our the trade here, also with Mr. Brando Commando's thing here. Listen, Mr. Brando Commando, I will know if you share. So you share, sir, good sir. Give me a second. Boom. Why is that doing that? Okay, there it is. I want to show you this here real quick. Boom. Let's go. XR Pedro. That's funny. That's good. XR Pedro. Very funny, sir. Very funny. This guy's got jokes for jokes and jokes. Been watching lately, just not live. Always liked. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. We know you are a community friend, brother. DYOR extraordinaire Schiller. Anyways, sorry. So let's jump in here real quick. All right. So we're watching XRP definitely coming in. Been acting up here. You can see here we have this area of liquidity. And then from here, the next area of liquidity is going to be sitting down between that 140 area to the 135 area. And so that's most likely where we are seeing our the end of the slip and slide right here, 140, 130 area. So that's where I'm looking at this going, like if we come down to here, we could pop this and then see it continue to go up if we see a rebound in our good old friend Bitcoin. And so you can see it's been following it. Now the interesting thing behind it is that we came down, we touched that 200 daily, or excuse me, the 200 weekly period moving average. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal because it communicates that it is showing strength off of this, right? It's just, if we're going to come back and test it again at that 113 area, it's got to hold. Now it's been holding to a T. You can see here to a T. So it will most likely have another pullback into this area. You can see the downturn of volume coming in. So we're looking at this weekly coming down, tapping a rule at that 200, which is going to be that 113, 890 area, or 113,589 area here is what I'm looking at for XRP if we see it come down. If it comes in with good volume on the week, at that level, right? Then I want to see it continue up, then from that level up. And the next level would be to test the 171 area price point here, right at that 100-day period moving average. So you've got a lot of resistance, but you also got a lot of support down at these other levels on the higher time frames. So that's a good sign saying that there might be some buying stepping in, and from an institutional level. So that's a good thing. Alrighty, my friend. That's about it. I hope you liked it.
Sorry, I was having a conversation with Striking Jr. about packing and stuff like that. While you're doing that. But yeah, we're getting long in the tooth here. Brando Commando who joined us, said he watches it on the replay a lot. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate that. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, as you guys all know who watch us, we really appreciate it when you guys share us and then mess around with what you share. So one of the things that I'll do is I'll post it to my Facebook page, and then I'll actually like it and talk on it myself to myself. So I'll be like, hey, these guys are awesome. Oh, dude, I totally hear they rock the mic. No, absolutely. Except for the guy in the blue shirt or in the blue sweater, or a hoodie.
Or when I wear my pink shirt.
Or your pink shirt.
Hey. Before we go, Pedro, I wanted to point out the article I have over on the screen next to me here.
Absolutely.
The Bitcoin maxis aren't happy with this one, but I brought it up while we were talking about crude oil. Crude oil and gold leading all other asset classes in 2026. Same thing Mike McClone from Bloomberg Intelligence said when he was on the show. And BTC is the worst performing asset so far in the market. Of the major things traded, there's certainly things that have performed worse than Bitcoin, but of all the things that that day traders focus on, Bitcoin has been hands down the worst. Now that obviously depends on what time you look at. If you look at since the beginning of Bitcoin's history, Bitcoin is up beyond whatever you can come up with. But as they say, what have you done for me lately?
Always.
What have you done for me lately? And Bitcoin is not doing well. Hopefully, as like Pedro said at the beginning of the show, we'll see a little action soon, and by June the price will be back up high to keep you spot market traders happy. But as long as there's bad news in the market about Bitcoin, that means it's going down because they want a cheaper price for it. And they're going to get it. They're going to get it, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to get that cheaper price. But as I like to say, that's, my headphones are dying. This is a good time to end the show. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all Pedro and I got for you today. We'll be off tomorrow. We'll see how this goes. I'm unsure of my exact daily schedule here, Pedro. But I'll be with the Striking Junior and Striking at the next 2 days for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. As always, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media land. So glad to host another one of these great shows we call DYOR Live. Thanks to Baby Draco, Brandon Commando, Space Cat, Crypto Mike, Crypto this, DeFi Dude, everybody that watched us this week, really appreciate it. I also want to take this time to thank Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst, for bringing the knowledge and bringing the good stuff here to all of you guys. We'll see you likely next week. That's all we got for you. I got to hit the right button. We're not going to do a raid or anything now. We're just going to hit the button. Yeah, let's see. Yesterday it didn't make the noise. I don't know why. Didn't make the noise for everybody, but we'll do it today. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you later. Enjoy the credits. Boom. Kabong. Oh, no sound again. It didn't kabong. Why doesn't it kabong? Let me go back. Hold on, Pedro. We're gonna kabong this damn thing.
Let's kabong this thing, bro. Kabong. Kabong.
The sound is on for it. Oh well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all you got from Pedro and I. You're just gonna have to live with it. All right. Adios, muchachos.